Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into something absolutely fascinating, the evolution of athletic training and a completely new proposed solution to the modern sports injury epidemic. You know, if you follow high school or college sports at all, you're probably well aware that we're basically facing a crisis right now. We're going to unpack why our traditional training methods might actually be falling short and how a totally new paradigm is trying to change the game. Okay, real quick, here is our agenda for today. We'll start with the modern athlete's problem, introduce the total bodyboard solution, talk about training in 3 dimensions, explore unlocking peak performance, and finish up with how one board fits every sport.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the modern athlete's problem. Stronger, yet more vulnerable.
We really have to stop and ask ourselves this core question. If athletes are getting so much stronger in the weight room, why in the world are injuries actually increasing? I mean, we've got high schoolers hitting absolute personal records on the bench press, but out on the field, they are more vulnerable than ever. It's a really troubling paradox.
And the stark reality of this crisis is pretty grim. Instead of filling up full rosters, we're seeing more and more young athletes sidelined on crutches and stuck in incredibly crowded rehabilitation rooms. It's definitely tough to see.
So what's causing this high school athletic crisis? Well, the traditional weight room is kind of failing them. We're seeing massive spikes in ACL and overuse injuries. Why? Mainly because there's a serious lack of functional movement training. Athletes are getting stronger, sure, but they're getting weaker in actual movement efficiency. Toss in limited recovery resources and incredibly expensive, bulky equipment taking up all the space and, well, you've got a real problem.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Total Body Board Solution, a complete performance system.
Picture an athlete using this system right out on the basketball court. They're hooked into resistance bands, completely engaged in a natural, dynamic, and active stance. They aren't just sitting down on some static, rigid machine. They are actually moving the exact way they play.
By definition, the Total Body Board isn't just your standard piece of gym equipment. It's a revolutionary resistance band training system. The whole goal here is to develop functional strength, explosive power, and movement efficiency, all while actively preventing injury. It's really the whole shebang.
And it hits the nail right on the head when it comes to what schools desperately need today. We're talking better injury prevention solutions, highly efficient training systems, functional athletic development, cost-effective equipment, and above all, safer performance training. It literally checks all the boxes.
Moving right along to Section 3, training in 3 dimensions, moving how we play. If we put the traditional weight room side by side with the total bodyboard, the difference is night and day. Traditional weights lock you into limited movement patterns, mostly just isolating strength by going up and down or push and pull. But this board, it enables totally dynamic movement and natural stabilization, which is absolutely crucial for improving joint integrity.
Let's get a tiny bit technical for a second, but I promise it makes sense. Real sports simply don't happen in a straight line. By allowing athletes to train across all 3 planes of motion, that's the sagittal plane moving forward and back, the frontal plane moving side to side, and the transverse plane involving rotation, we build faster, explosive, and much more durable bodies.
So if you take nothing else away from this explainer, remember this core philosophy. Train the body the way it was designed to move. Actually, let me repeat that for emphasis. Train the body the way it was designed to move. We have to stop isolating muscles and start training bodies for the unpredictable nature of competition.
All right, on to Section 4, unlocking peak athletic performance, building better athletes. Let's look at how this functional foundation actually translates into measurable performance. If you want speed, this system targets explosive movement and acceleration mechanics. Agility? It hones in on lateral movement efficiency and reactive patterns. Strength is built through full-body resistance and core integration. Balance comes from neuromuscular training, and endurance is baked right in through continuous resistance movement. It's a complete package.
When you see athletes doing high-impact plyometric jumping with this system, the resistance bands attach directly to them as they drive upward. This is exactly how you build that explosive, multi-directional power needed for a higher vertical jump or a lightning-fast first step.
And it's incredibly scalable for teams too. Just imagine a whole group doing sprint resistance and multi-directional power development together. Driving their knees against that continuous tension perfectly translates to actual on-field speed.
Finally, Section 5, one board for every sport. Ultimate versatility and scale.
The versatility here is honestly kind of mind-blowing. You can literally use it poolside for safe, low-impact rehabilitation while recovering, or you could take it right out onto the grass to perfect the incredibly complex mechanics of a sport-specific golf swing.
And the scale is just as impressive. You can run rigorous outdoor stadium jump training on the turf and then pivot right into an indoor, perfectly synchronized group fitness class. The transition is completely seamless.
For athletic directors and coaches out there, the practical benefits are a real game changer. The system is compact, totally portable, and requires minimal maintenance. It is way safer for younger athletes than lugging around heavy free weights, highly scalable for massive teams, works indoors or outdoors, and literally supports every single athletic program you have on campus.
So, at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one simple truth. More athletes can train at once with less equipment. That is a massive win for any facility's footprint and budget.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Are you ready to stop just lifting weights and start training athletes how their bodies were actually designed to move? It's definitely something to think about if we want to leave this injury epidemic in the past. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.